ever since I was a young boy, I remember always having this desire, this wanderlust to see the entire world. And I specifically remember when I was in grade 10 and I was taking a geography class. And that for that geography class, I had a textbook. And that textbook, spoke about all different concepts and theories about geography. And in that textbook, there were pictures dotted throughout. And it would say something, something, something. Oh, this is some rock formation in this part of, I don't know, Africa. And it would say these foreign places, and it would talk about Asia, Africa, places in South America, cultures and different things. And I remember flipping through that textbook so much that I almost had it memorized. That what were the different pictures and what were the different places that were mentioned. And it was that curiosity, that kind of excitement about seeing different places and seeing so many vast different cultures, which got me excited about traveling and world traveling in particular. And I think now, at my age right now, I'm really, really interested in these types of experiences. And there's another experience that I'll mention very briefly of, taking my first solo trip when I was 10 years old. Now, this was a trip from Toronto to London, England, where I visited family. I stayed with family. But even during that trip, I was surrounded by all my extended family, my uncles, everybody. They took me to Paris, France for the first time in my life. They also took me, we drove through England, countryside, through Wales, and then took a ferry into Ireland to, spend some time in Ireland. And I remember those particular moments were very formative for me at such a young age that it really fostered this curiosity about the world and a willingness to think a little bit differently. That, we live and we grow up in one particular place, but that doesn't have to be determinative of where we have to live and spend the rest of our lives. And so these types of experiences from a very early age have shaped and transformed and motivated me to want to travel the world and to see every single place. And I always tell people, people ask me sometimes, what are your top 3 vacation destinations, or what are your top 3 places you want to go? And I consider that one of the hardest questions to answer, simply because it's a yes. It's like yes. Like I don't know how to to narrow it down to 3 places. I want to see every single place in the world. Um, Now, what's the problem here? The problem is that you're likely a student, and you're not earning vast amounts of income where you believe that you can travel and you can go and see different places. And that is where I want to talk to you guys for a second, because that is, you have the biggest element, which is time. Some people have money, some people have time. And when you're specifically in university, or you're studying, you're a student, maybe you're working a part-time job, you're not like a fully fledged professional in a full-time career. You have that time flexibility to go and travel. And so I want to suggest 3 things to you to help you travel the world for free, or if not, incredibly cheaply. Now, number 1 are credit cards. Credit cards, I believe, are the single biggest hack that allow you to travel extremely, extremely cheaply. Even when I first got into credit card hacking, or churning as it's called on Reddit, is I signed up for some like Scotiabank American Express card back in the day. This was like maybe 2017, and that card effectively gave me about $400 or $500 worth of credit that I could offset on a travel purchase. Now, I use that to pay for a round trip ticket from Toronto to Tokyo for about $800. So I got more than half of my cost completely covered. Now as I've matured and I've learned a lot more in credit card hacking, there are plethora and a variety of credit cards you can get. But as a general rule, I would say, is have multiple credit cards. Have at least 3, 4, 5 credit cards under your belt. That's and you want to get the welcome bonuses as well. That's where you get 80% of the actual bonuses and the points. You also want to, one of the newbie mistakes I see is that people tend not to, want to pay for the high annual fee cards. And I get it. Some of those can be as high as like $600-700, especially the American Express Platinum. They're currently $800 Canadian. And I get that. And that's kind of a mental shift that a lot of people need to take, because once you can actually look at the benefits that you're getting from paying this annual fee, even if it's high, to me, I see it as an investment. So yes, you're spending $800, but depending on how you use those points, that the amount of points you can get could be worth a lot more. Recently, I took a trip. Actually, I'm here now in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and flying from Toronto to Malaysia. My long haul flight from flying from Toronto to Malaysia, I effectively got on business class, a ticket that would cost in the range of like 3,000 plus, and I paid for it in about $800 worth of points. So it's a fairly good mechanism to use if you know how to spend your points properly. If you like a video on that, if you'd like me to explain that, let me know and I can make a video on that. The second tip I would give is going off the beaten path. Now, a lot of times, a lot of the people who travel, what I see, from somebody living in Toronto, is that people tend to play it safe, and they'll go to the close by locations. They'll go to New York City, or they might go to Philadelphia, Chicago. Maybe they'll go down to Miami, or the Caribbean islands, which are fine, and those are nice and exciting places. But they're they're much more expensive. The average price for about a hotel in for one person or two people in Miami is about like $300-400 you're spending. Now, if you compare that to something in Asia, here in Kuala Lumpur, for example, I'm spending about $44 a night for an extremely beautiful place. This is a place that has an infinity pool. It has beautiful skyline views. It's located in the heart of the city. It has an amazing gym. It is fairly small, but it's good enough to get a nice workout in. It has a cafe, and you get a lot more bang for your buck once you go off the beaten path, and particularly when you get out of North America and the more I would say expensive, higher priced locations in the world. Yeah, the third thing I would say is traveling solo. And don't get me wrong, I love traveling with friends and family, and I've done a lot of trips in that way. Um, However, what the common thing that I've noticed with them is that they're often time bound, or you're kind of have to negotiate schedules with other people, etc. The nice thing about traveling solo is that you can pretty much just pick up and go wherever you want to, when you want to, and it gives you a lot of flexibility and freedom to really, choose your own adventure, basically. And it makes it more affordable in that sense because you don't have to appeal to someone else's interests. You don't have to double the cost on other things as well.